Strong words from Prime Minister Modi, but the big question, how will this Modi doctrine now rein in Pakistan-based terror? Have we now drawn a new red line with our neighbor, our hostile neighbor? That's the question that Narendra Modi's tough words will raise. Joining me now is Raj Chengappa, editorial director at India Today, joins me, veteran of covering many India-Pakistan stories. I'm also joined by another veteran, Dr. Sanjay Baru, veteran journalist and someone who was part of Manmohan Singh's Prime Minister's office, and Geeta Mohan, our diplomatic affairs editor, who I'm going to first. Geeta, how is this speech being now seen? The strong words by the Prime Minister, what kind of reactions are we getting at the moment, particularly from all the diplomats and others you've been speaking to?
Well, too early for reactions to come in, Rajdeep. We'll start rolling out reactions in just a while from now. But yes, it just comes after the big announcement by US President Donald Trump. Having said that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, for the first time, made the entire policy official. For the past 2 days, we've been saying on the basis of sources that the government has shifted its stance and its policy, saying that act of terror will now be considered as an act of war. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spelled that out in no uncertain words. So that's very important. It's not just a shift, Rajdeep, it's also a message to the world and to those who were saying and thinking that there was a lot of pressure that was being mounted on India, that if there's an act of terror, there is going to be a military response. The world can think what they want to, the world can say what they want to, but please do not call New Delhi to say de-escalate. If they want de-escalation, it should happen from the perpetrators. And here he said the Akas, the ones behind the terror attacks, which he meant was the Pakistani state and the establishment. So that's a clear message.
The University of Terror. The University of Terror, as he's called it, they are the ones who have, and he widened its scope, Raj Chengappa, not just to include what happened to India, but across the world, that this is a country which for decades now has been sponsoring terror. How do you interpret that message? Do we now have a new strategic doctrine in place which says enough of diplomatic restraint? We will now treat every terror attack as an act of war. Operation Sindoor is the new normal.
Well, I think let's call it more on the red lines, right? Strategic doctrines, you could term it in various other ways. And if you look at that, first is that the quantum of punishment is a dramatic improvement, escalation over what happened in Balakot. You are hitting one camp and mainly foot soldiers. Here you're now virtually cutting the head of the snake off, right? You're hitting the headquarters of Lashkar-e-Taiba as well as Jaish-e-Mohammed. And the second big message is, so you're going after the leaders. You are not, just trying to make a hit at the ground level. The second, I think, big thing is geography is not a constraint. There is no place to hide. We will hit you wherever you are. And that's the big message that's there. And the third is a big message for Pakistan, that we're willing to get into Punjab, which is your heartland, close to the capital. We'll strike you where it hurts you the most. We are unafraid of your nuclear blackmail that you that you sort of thought you'd always get away with. And the other aspect is that, when it came to toughness in terms of what ahead, he was very clear that there will be no, terror. No talks if there's terror still. In terms of trade also, we're going to cut off. And he also mentioned blood and water will not mix, which means that the Indus water is going to be an issue as we look ahead. And very, very interestingly, also mentioned POK. There was one aspect of it, which I think Pakistan should take note of, that he talked of the fact that Pakistan themselves will have to come to terms and cleanse themselves. So there is an opening in terms of the development side that Pakistan must now move in a different direction. And that's very valid, because I feel if you have to really get away from the trap that they're in, Pakistan must start focusing on development. There are a virtual basket case that is
So there's a very, very tough message to Pakistan in the Prime Minister's message, not just limited to non-state actors, as the terrorists were called, but to the Pakistani army state as well. That's the distinction. Until now, Pakistan has tried to make a distinction between non-state actors, i.e. the terrorist groups, and the state of Pakistan. The Prime Minister is not making that distinction anymore.